means Cloud9 get their new first pick of taking Hecarim away for the first time all series.
And I think that Santorin probably will pick up the Udyr. You don't have to do it in 1-2 right here. You can save it if you want to grab stuff like Rel for bottom lane and try and recommit to a engaged bottom side. Again, the Senna Tahm Kench is still a possibility. You can hang it until bans number 4 and 5 and try and ban out one of the two. Usually people will ban Tahm Kench away to try and dissuade teams from doing that type of combination on bottom side. There's the Udyr that we're looking for. No surprise here for Santorin. It's been one of the champions he's most comfortable on.
Yeah.
He's also been really flexible with it. Hasn't always done the power clear. There have been many times where, depending on lane matchups, Santorin actually does not finish off doing Krugs, does actually an abnormal leveling for Udyr. Usually you'll do Q into double points Phoenix for super fast full clear, but he actually did level 3 Bear Stance to go for first blood previously. And with them stealing away the Sylas, that actually might be a weapon that they try and use towards mid. The all-in with a flash bear slap from Udyr into the Sylas stun can definitely net you some kills. Oh.
So I like this draft though so far on the Cloud9 side. Aside from the Hecarim, I don't think Jinx Rocket is like the best Sylas steal in general. The damage scales based on distance traveled, and he's a melee champion. Ultimately, no one is here yet to dive alongside Sylas. Jinx is actually fairly safe in the backline here. Everyone can kind of sit up front and keep Udyr at bay, and it looks like Cloud9 continue to have sort of draft plans in place. They see a champion, like, okay, we accounted for an Udyr comp, we're going to play Jinx into that. We're accounting for Hecarim and Seraphine, we've got Sylas for that. Now, of course, in Game 2, it didn't quite work. They did more damage in the backline. Maybe Kalista was the wrong choice there. But Zven has been the strongest laning player of any of the players on the Rift today in the laning phase. Above Alphari, above Fudge, and anyone else. He's been outstanding so far in the postseason. And he's going to have really good late game damage output too on the Jinx with the Thresh for support. The most prized support in League of Legends this patch is Thresh, and it goes to Cloud9.
Yeah, but CoreJJ has put out a whole video on the Nautilus into Thresh interactions and has put so much time practicing, the little bump, your hook bump, and as well your delay on the on wall hooks to be able to outplay the Thresh in this matchup that we haven't seen a lot of other supports really put that dedication into the timing on those bufferings for. So I'm always excited to see CoreJJ take the Nautilus into Thresh matchup side of it and look for those outplays. Plus, I always love Nautilus versus Jinx because everybody wants to dive the Jinx, and that gives you a way to actually pin her down, allow guys like Sylas to get in there, Udyr to actually navigate these fights. Because to your point, the Thresh in team fights can be one of the most annoying champions to play against for things like Udyr that have to run at you. Play so annoying, box so annoying.
Yeah, so you just press R, it's free actually. It's great. All right, so excited to see what comes out of this one, honestly. I agree with your point about the Thresh Nautilus interactions specifically between those two could be interesting. I actually went and looked, though, because I was curious how right CoreJJ was about the matchup. I looked at, like, Masters Plus only over the last month, and the win rates actually don't change very much. That ultimately, you don't tend to be able to overwrite a lot of Thresh's strengths anyway, so it feels like a lot of teams are still comfortable playing the Thresh side and are actually, reasonable to do so. Now, that might change to the pro play, right? CoreJJ is not your average Masters Plus player playing solo queue. So, there's always a bias there. Don't get me wrong, right? There's always a bias there. You can't draft everything perfectly. But Volibear coming back in as well. We'll reiterate what we saw in the Dignitas series last weekend. This is pre-buff Volibear against everything but small Krugs, small Chickens, and small Wolves. He hits the early damage cap on the E. This does matter in his clear speed. It matters in his objective taking. It is a weaker jungler. That said, he is a top laner in this game. Top lane Volibear is still very strong. Beef falls in the top lane as Volibear and Sion will battle up there.
Yeah, exactly. Double bears here for Team Liquid. That nerfs don't hurt top Volibear at all, except for maybe a Dragonsteel attempt or something like that. Perkz as well on the Ryze. Ryze and Azir for Perkz, two of the most influential champions in his career. Honestly, I do love to see 4-1 options for Cloud9, though, especially when you have champions like Sion and Hecarim that are very good at getting those engages and getting those flanks, because Ryze with the ultimate, a lot of mobility and a lot of mobility on both engage points with Hecarim and Sion, open up those options for it to be a very powerful 4-1 for Cloud9. As long as they can protect Zven, of course. And it looks like this one actually coming in with a lot more even footing out of the draft phase. Game number 1, smashing for Cloud9 with a lot of early game investment. Game number 2, just the opposite there for Team Liquid, with really strong matchups for themselves on top side, good matchup on bottom side as well. And then with the added jungle play early on, it was just right back the other way, 24-minute victory. So game number 3, expect this one to be the most contentious of the series. And already we're heading up. No sweepers for anybody. So maybe we'll see junglers swap out to sweepers first ward recall. But aside from that, probably not the late invade.
Alrighty, well, late
right over the ward,
but not with a ward. So as the recalls come out, Cloud9 know everything, and they can expect there to be a ward placed down somewhere in the blue buff. Now, they might not know if there's going to be a blue buff steal at level 1 based on the movement and the recall. Oh, miscoordination, double ward in the same spot. You hate to see it. Not going to make too much.
Remake!
Yeah. This is far from over. New draft, 20 game a record. This is just unwinnable. All right, game 3 goes to Cloud9. Congratulations. Wow, we got to name those wards.
All right, that is Dumb and Dumber then right there.
That means Santorin and CoreJJ are those. Oh, Blaber.
No, those are the wards names, Phreak.
You're right. Wait, Blaber has a sweeper, though. What if he pops it and they get 40 gold off of these wards?
Oh, my goodness. Sweeper difference.
Oh,
Sweeper diff.
Yeah, it's so worth it, too, right? That's 10 gold apiece. And oh, Blaber, no. Oh, it's fine. It's 30 gold earned. It could have only been 20. It's a bunch of free XP. Fudge is getting level 2 off of the first wave. And Blaber is a pretty happy man right now.
Yeah. All right. Sweeps them both out. Also going to be able to do the Gromp plus blue here. Pretty quick clear for Hecarim. No problem there. It's going to be a reverse side for Udyr with the blue side start. There is a very deep ward that Cloud9 got during the invade from Team Liquid. That's the benefit of Hecarim putting down ward and then recalling for swapping over to sweeper. Thank you, observers. That's the ward I'm talking about. When Team Liquid went for the invade, Cloud9 on the mini-map, you could see, go for a deep ward for themselves. That Scout Santorin, they know the exact timing. It's a regular full blue side clear here for Santorin. Normally, and you can tell by the level ups as well, like I was mentioning earlier, as long as you put 1 Q into 2 Phoenix, it's just going to be a full power clear there for Santorin. So Udyr can get it and get down to the Scuttle Crab very quickly, so it should be traded Scuttle Crabs. Nothing crazy coming out here. Both mid laners should know the side that they can hover to for their junglers as well. Jensen actually doesn't.
Perkz can, flash root into knockback is easy. Jensen's gonna get a heal, he's gonna dash, he's gonna flash. Is it gonna be enough? Oh, the turret's gonna trade it back. So at least a kill comes back on Jensen's side. But first blood for Cloud9.
Yep, and that's actually gonna be one of those altered routes we were talking about. Blaber does it this time, just the blue clear. So it's a very early gank and you're not expecting the timing there as Jensen, but root by Perkz sets him up for it. First blood definitely worth it, even though Blaber goes back in for another Q on the Hecarim to make sure that they get the kill and takes that turret shot. You can still get Hecarim out to the bottom side and get that crab. Here's another look at it. Good flash initiation from Perkz, sets him up for the knockback. I think he actually did need the damage from the extra Q auto there from Blaber. So, you know, Blaber does end up going down, but definitely worth it. He still gets bottom crab, gets out back on the map quick enough, and should be able to finish up and catch right back up to Udyr.
Yeah. I got to highlight Zven. Perfect CS on 5 waves, which was really impressive to see. We'll see if he gets to 32 at the end of this one. That would be continued perfection in his laning phase overall, but so far in the very early game, Jinx has had a nearly free lane. Okay, dropped 2 CS on wave 6, but still, incredibly good farm. Jinx is the one champion, I think, above all other marksmen who scale almost purely off of gold. Like, level 9 is kind of your entire skill order power spike, and just getting items from there on is what matters, so as long as Zven can farm, that is the win condition kind of secured on the C9 side.
And again, we want to look at the CoreJJ Nautilus into Thresh attempts here because he's very good at getting that little body bump off and timing on the hook there. Top side, though, Alphari with the Volibear lock-in. Top side Volibear should still have really good laning power, should be able to push around the Sion for the early levels. And he does just that, regaining control of the minion wave, as well as allowing Santorin to come up, drop the control ward. Means that Fudge has to cede control.
He does, and he's going to be down in farm as he's stacking some armor. Sadly for him, Volibear does do a decent amount of magic damage. Not enough for armor to be wrong. He's still physical heavy overall, even if it's a pure tank build. Also got to shout out the Doran's Ring start. Again, there are some good AP ratios on Volibear, and the Infinite Manate landing phase is going to feel good as well. But we're not going to see Nash's Tooth. We're not going to see a Riftmaker or anything. It's still going to be, you know, Tank Brawler or something up there. But a little bit of AP does go a long way for at least the early game. Equal gold, though, for both teams. That's despite the fact that the first blood mid was worth 300 more gold than the counter kill. So props to great laning top side for Alphari.
Yeah, and CoreJJ makes the first support roam towards mid. Perkz, remember his offensively blown flash definitely makes it a point of weakness. Can be attacked, but you know, with the Ryze, you can play it so much more safely. Easily just sitting back here, even with CoreJJ coming.
That's
oh my
gone.
God, they get
flash hook. They know they've got it. What a shot by Jensen sets up the kill as the follow through is there.
Just as I'm saying, he can play it so safe. He can just stand right back at the turret. Jensen hits the chain. And with that, CoreJJ walks up, hooks him in, right back out, and gets the counter. Just 1-for-1 here, trading again for the mid laners. They're not going to let Jensen you know, get overextended, get vulnerable here in the mid lane. Really good return there. But man, if that gets dodged off to the side, you know, Perkz is running straight back towards his tower. No hesitation from Santorin or CoreJJ. Really good follow-up hook, allows him to pull him right back out of range there. That is just good follow-up from Team Liquid. Cloud9, they get the reset though, and with bottom side pushing, CoreJJ went for the recall, so they do get the dragon in answer.
Okay, so a dragon is going to be there, but it's a 600 gold deficit to make up now on the Cloud9 side. 2 flashes were burned for that kill. Now, that is a low price to pay when you have Hex Flash in your support, so it's not going to hurt CoreJJ much, but that can really affect Santorin, who's not going to be nearly as mobile. Probably had his boots done in time, so it is a shorter flash cooldown, but still, a flashless Udyr is fairly helpless as far as engage and escaping. But Alphari, level 6 on a Volibear, can turn off the turret. If Jensen lands any skill shots off Alphari's stun, it's pretty much doomed. Flash E, gonna land for more, but a Hecarim is gonna be there to turn it back around.
Whoa!
Charge in though, and Jensen does it better. Flashes right back out, and this is so chaotic in the mid game, but it's all Team Liquid.
Alphari actually uses his ult right there to immune the Hecarim fear instead of going for turning off the turret, and Jensen with his flash coming back up can complete the dive, so repeat pressure on Perkz. First 2 games, a lot of it, even in game number 2, Cloud9 putting in effort with these mid lane ganks for support, for jungle, coming through constantly so that then Perkz can roam. They unlock him. Definitely some corrections being made by Team Liquid this time around. They don't want to let that be the same story throughout this series. And so it's nice to see literally every member of Team Liquid answering this mid pressure, except for Tactical. So flash used this time by Alphari to get in there for the stun. He immunes the Hecarim ultimate fear, so that means he can't turn off the turret, but since Jensen has flash, he goes in to finish it himself.
Ryze on the way down, and ultimately the skill shots miss. Vulcan cannot land the hook, and that means no chase down on Tactical. And even if it landed on the CoreJJ, you've got Fate's Call to make it safe, and just not gonna matter. So it is TL walking away. Perkz' first ult to roam does not land anything. His most played champion in his entire career. Perkz a bunch of games on Ryze. A positive win rate, sure, but when you spend your career on G2, it's hard to not have a positive win rate on anything. Very few champs does Perkz lose on because he's had some good teammates. Now on Cloud9, the same is still true. They won the regular season. They got runners-up in the lock-in tournament, and now looking down a rough game 3 so far, but certainly winnable against Team Liquid.
Yeah, it's going to get a bit more rough now, though. Santorin on this Udyr has so much priority. If he gets this Rift Veil, it looks like he's going to be able to finish it off since you've got Blaber on Krugs and CoreJJ makes the early rotation up. That's going to be huge for them. It just kind of balloons this gold lead, gets them an early lead on the tower, too. If you can use that mid, this is perfect because so much of this game has been funneling and unlocking your mid laner to then get your mid laner to roam. Jensen's receiving so many resources. He's just getting lifted up by every other member on Team Liquid right now. If they can also feed him the Rift Herald, half of that money in turret plates, and get that early damage on the mid lane, then they can really dissect Cloud9's early game here. If you cut Zven and Vulcan off, from the rest of the team, it's going to really set up these Kalista Nautilus plays that you look for when they hit level 6.
Okay, Blaber sneaks in the mid-rush. Sweeper on the entire way. Knows he's not been spotted. There's missing pings in the side, but that's going to be enough to find Tactical. Nothing he could have done about that one. A great hook from the Fog of War. Should not have face-checked that brush, but well done all the same to Vulcan to land the Q.
Vulcan hits it. Death sentence right out of the bush, and that is just a little bit too close for Tactical. Blaber going around for the dive. Let's count the teleports, though. Blaber, be a bit careful with that one. Alphari and Jensen both have teleports, and Jensen just recalled, so he could easily join. That would be very, very overzealous of them to go for. So they just call it off. Nice kill onto the Kalista. Cuts out on some of that farm. Jinx, Phreak, to your point. Really good CS still for Zven. 101. Approaching 11 minutes here for the Jinx. So he's right on track for these team fights for C9. Even though Team Liquid have gotten a pretty good early boost there. Cloud9 have a very fed Jinx, and they have the first dragon already off of that play. So they're definitely set up to regain vision control around this dragon and try and supplant Team Liquid.
Whoop. Little side step of the minion means one CS dropped by Perkz, but yeah, there's the Herald that always, always, always gives gold to the jungler who summons it. The plates are global, but Jensen, assuming he's within about 1100 range, gets to share at least half that, so 160 apiece. So Team Liquid, over the last 2 games, have gotten both of the first Heralds, but has been unable to get more than just 2 plates off those crashes. So not the highest value, but still obviously 420 total gold for the objective take, counting the actual kill in the Herald itself, is still obviously a good amount of income for, 30 seconds of Santorin's time.
Honestly, I really like to see this commitment from Team Liquid towards mid. They are doing everything they possibly can to funnel as much gold into Jensen, as much carry potential. So Jensen is going to have to deliver for this team in team fights. This Sylas, teleport is used. He's got the early Everfrost already completed. Dragon is available. Everfrost peak right here. He's the only champion in the game with a mythic item completed for this dragon fight. And I think with the presence on it, early control wards in all the river. Yep, Team Liquid get it. No contest.
Yeah, Cloud9 only get a wave, but Blaber, we've seen this play before, should be just out of vision, just barely. Knows that one pretty intuitively. Hooked! Oh my goodness. Second time in a row, Tactical nearly get caught in the exact same spot. Just off to the side, so Vulcan just misses out on another kill.
You got to be careful checking these brush. Santorin still hasn't shown that he recalled. Back of the pit here for him is going to leave out on the alcove. And you see, minimap, I like this from Tactical. He's like, you know what? We're not checking these brush anymore. He's going to do Gromp. He's going to go pick that one up, as CoreJJ will just hold the wave for him. And they can keep it right here, finish it up, and push right back out. This is something that we saw a lot in LCK last week, actually. Bottom side taking not only Gromp, but also Wolves away. And when you are an Udyr that has a lot of stuff to do, towards mid lane and have camps on top side, it actually doesn't hurt you for your Kalista taking the Gromp right now, because the respawn timers are so quick right now. He can easily do Krugs and still transition over. You have a lot of value here working off of this fed Sylas and Volibear winning topside matchup.
And in some cases, it can even help you. Keep in mind, jungle camps level up over time, but their level is snapshotted on spawn. So if it's a low-level Gromp, it's worth more gold, or I guess at least more XP, I should say, if you kill it and it respawns at level 7 or level 9 or something.
Yep, definitely. XP goes through the roof up to a level 9 cap. CoreJJ, constant roams towards mid. You really got to put a lot of effort into keeping the river clear, though, now. You can see the defensive warding by Cloud9 since Alphari already made some of the roam attempts towards mid. Ooh, man, CoreJJ value, though, still gets the flash out of Perkz with his mid-roam. Mid-presence definitely paying off.
Alphari shoving in topside right now. Lead of farm is negligible. Most of this wave, I should say, can be claimed and make it a ±1, which shouldn't mean much. But other than a bit of pressure bot side from Cloud9 and that first gank in mid, it's been more for Team Liquid. Again, the neutral objectives have gone their way, but you can look at the actual gold, and it's back to tied up. It's Zven farming well. It's Perkz holding a CS lead despite all the pressure. It's pretty easy to get your entire waves as Ryze, so he's just on his way to just scaling and scaling and scaling. And I mean, there is some very good late game damage to the Cloud9 side, plus 3 meatballs in front.
Yeah, this small advantage could mean something for Team Liquid. They go for the red buff invade. Smite fight!
Good smite. Santorin grabs it, but he's hooked in place. Everfrost buys some time. Blaber does not want to charge in. Santorin is not a good enough target. He's too meaty, and out goes 1/4 of the Bears on Team Liquid's side.
Ooh, yeah. Not sticking around any extra damage on this turret. Leaves it up so it still damages the wave and pushes a little bit back out. Looks like CoreJJ calling Santorin down to finish it off with full safety here. They have deep wards for themselves too. That is first turret bonus for the Kalista lane here. We haven't seen a big play from the Kalista ultimate, Nautilus ultimate combination, but once these towers start falling, bottom is gone, mid will be short to follow. Then Cloud9 can really aggressively push their vision deeper into the red quadrant and secure themselves the spawn for Dragon number 2. It's a minute and a half away, so you have plenty of time to reset, get your control wards, and then push back out. Teleports are available on both of your solo laners here, who have pretty good pushing for topside first, and then you can always bring them over.
2,000 gold puts Team Liquid ahead right now. Cloud9 certainly looking to scale. Team Liquid really only 2 threats, and not always is Sylas free to hit in any team with a lot of crowd control or healing reduction at some point in time. So, and Kalista, never the lake in Hypercarry. Sure, first item fine, 2 items fine, 3 items okay, but it falls off from there. So there is some pressure for TL to keep the pressure on, to keep the pace up. Again, they're doing a very good job. I'm not saying they're losing the game because they're not farther ahead. Just we have to keep our eyes on the fact that they do want to keep the pressure on. 40 seconds on Dragon number 3. Would be a fairly late soul, but not abysmal by any means. We'll see if they can keep that bottom jungle and bottom river pressure. So far, so good. Up in 30, and they're the ones with the control wards.
And again, they did have plenty of time, a minute and 30 seconds. They all reset. They all have control wards now. They're back out. They still have plenty of vision setting up for the Dragon. Topside attempt from Cloud9, though. Looks like they're set on giving up the Dragon, going for the pick here. Yep. There's also a Rift Herald in the hands of Blaber, so if they get the pick, they can pressure so hard on topside.
Down, that's the timing. Udyr is in the river. He dashed, and they said, no, it's not good enough. They're going to let him go with it. He's not going for the turret or anything else. They're finally here waiting for Thresh to show up. Hecarim ult goes nowhere. He melee range to try to CC Vulcan, and now this man is down to the 1v3. A shutdown comes across. Team Liquid almost assuredly getting the Dragon, as they've already knocked down 2 turrets, but finally the kill comes through in a Jensen.
I really thought they were going to Rift Herald afterwards, but Blaber actually takes the empowered Rift Herald recall, so maybe he's trying to use that to get back out. But yeah, after the top pick, no Rift Herald used, so it's probably just going to be the 1 tower on top side traded for Dragon. Blaber's going to hold on to Rift Herald number 2. There's plenty of time left on it. No actual gold traded then.
Yeah, with the dual lane leaving in time, there's not enough time for Perkz to take down. There we go. The rest of the turret, yeah, I know. Not my finest casting moment, Kobe. I've had my own share of stinkers.
I like those moments. It shows me that you're real, okay?
I am not a robot. I have not yet been replaced by automation and AI, but Zven has to charge away. Turret will not die. A greatly timed ult by Alphari, pushed back, but Santorin flashes in. Oh, to be hooked right into his face. Rooted now as well. Oh! Zven is excited, and that means big damage is afoot. Rocket already down. Passed a while ago. Melee turret just barely survives, but you can see the kind of damage Cloud9 can put in. Santorin flashed into the meat walls and just couldn't get anything done.
Honestly, without the Udyr too here, it's dangerous for Team Liquid to keep poking around up by Perkz and Vulcan. The rest of the Cloud9 team can rotate over. Gold earned, on the side of C9 picking up the kill, but Team Liquid aren't going to stop there. Tactical wants to finish off topside turret. He's got CoreJJ behind him, so even with Perkz showing here, going to keep on the pressure. Maybe you have a Sion, Turbo Chem Tank is available on both the Hecarim and the Sion. Go for the pincer movement, but looks like they're just going to go for a defensive reset.
Looks like they guessed on where Hecarim might be. You saw some red pings just as Blaber was crossing over.
Ooh.
Knows CoreJJ's around, says, okay, I don't have backup. We're not going to go for this play either right now. But the gold lead has shrunk to only 1,000. A good play by Cloud9 keeps the game close as 193 CS and 2 kills on a Jinx, going for the single target build of Phantom Dancer. I'm a big fan. There are melees to Hurricane. However, just killing one target first is really important. Phantom Dancer, maybe the single best marksman item in League of Legends if you're going to go for crit. So good to see that one come in.
Yeah, I definitely know you love that item. It's such a big DPS increase once you get that sucker stacked up. And it's not hard to stack up either, so definitely agree. Yeah, definitely agree there. Cloud9, though, they have the power, right? Jinx here is ready. Actually, Realm Warp used by Perkz are going for the pick.
And they're all 5 here. Jensen flashes over just to see Perkz in his face. Root into root into root into death. Zven on a killing spree.
All right, push hard now on the towers. This is the moment they've been waiting for. They actually have mid dented, top side really hurt as well. All the minion waves have been shoved up by Team Liquid, though, so no big gains off of that pick. It's just another reset here for Cloud9. To your point about the scaling, though, Phantom Dancer now done for Jinx. So it is the 2-item Jinx. Full reset there for Zven. Picks it up. The team fights are going to get more and more scary as this time goes on for Cloud9. You know, backline Jinx versus backline Kalista carrying through front to back when you've got a full tank Sion to stand in front of. Definitely feels like a comfortable situation for Zven to really put on the carry pants. Here it goes again. Another good Realm Warp by Perkz. Cloud9 getting some revenge on Jensen with back-to-back pickoffs. Top side first, then mid side, getting that extra gold back in their pockets to try and fund this 5v5.
Gold difference now 300. Lord Dominic's going to be up soon for tactical. Wants the arm penetration to deal with the fact that, well, he is against 3 tanks, and he is the only one killing those tanks based in the champion select. So yes, indeed, has to go for that kind of option there. Not going to go for the Hurricane stack nearly as much. See if that's going to matter for him in the long term, if he can actually knock someone down with the extra damage there. Want to see what else people are going to fight for, though. Infernal. That's going to be in a while. Infernal spawning in 1 minute and 13 seconds. We've had Team Liquid own it the last couple of times, but this could easily flip as Cloud9 have certainly felt more comfortable with their team fights recently.
Yeah, and I honestly think that this is definitely going to be the one where they fight over the dragon. 1 minute here left on the setup for Team Liquid. You already have Alphari in the river trying to get the vision there. Control ward is down. This might be the one that C9 go for. 50 seconds left, so they're getting their recalls off now for control wards. Perkz is also going to push top side. He's got Realm Warp, so you can get like half the map in distance almost at this point. And he's going to be able to push that one head down pretty easily.
All right, Phantom Dancer, next component done now for Zven. So power spike check, let's look. 2 done for Fudge, right? Full Thorn Mail in there as well. 2 items in for Perkz, 2 items in for Jensen. AD carry's different, top lane different, jungle's the same, and here we go. No Mythic though for Vulcan. He is the one player missing that item slot. First stun comes across, they pull CoreJJ right back. That's an ult for ult that seems pretty reasonable for the TL side. And they once again own the river as Volibear can come back up. Dragon spawns in 5 seconds. Ward control in this part of the jungle. And Team Liquid are hemmed into the river, but Alphari could go for a flank play. Problem is there's not that much dive. I'm not sure if Jinx can die to Sylas plus Volibear, depending on how much peel Cloud9 have and how much damage Perkz can do in the rest of it. 4,000 health right now. Rend is stacking up, so Blaber's got to go pretty soon. 2,500, Alphari still winning. He's on ward. Sven's going to slow him down. Here comes the pull to the front line. CoreJJ not as easily saved, and now has to run away. Dive in the back line is in, and is it going to be enough damage? They try to knock down Zven, and he's surviving. Finally goes down the tactical, but that means he has to overextend. And Cloud9, they've still got Perkz. Oh, baby, it's a quadra kill for the mid laner. And just like we saw a year and a half ago, Perkz has taken down Team Liquid in a best of 5.
All eyes are on Zven, Phreak, and they get that kill in the back line, but it costs them everything. Ryze, the machine gun mage from the middle of this team fight. Perkz free firing, getting his flux onto all of the members that are just grouped up in here. Everybody's short range, everybody getting bounced on with the flux. Here's another look at it. CoreJJ actually starts it out. As soon as he gets the hook, C9 are like, great, we want a front-to-back team fight. So they start firing. And while the double flank of the 2 solo laners, Jensen and Alphari, does eventually kill Zven, it takes tactical getting one more auto in there, Kalista going short range right into Ryze's face to actually finish off the Jinx. And so Perkz, he was just, well, all the attention is there on Zven, killing off this Jinx. Look at that. 5,874 damage straight up the middle for Perkz.
And that's why this is a Honda performance play. That man 1v5 the damage in that team fight. Obviously good target selection everywhere else, but you know, it's endgame already. You might have killed Zven, but what did it cost, TL? Well, everything. Your entire team died, the dragon went over, and suddenly Cloud9, you know, you might call the Azir bad, but well, for TL, the Ryze is certainly worse. And yeah, here we go. Endgame attempt number 2, fight number 2. Look at the top side, Perkz. Oh, he cannot stop the lantern in time, and he's out there, level 15 on the Ryze. Still scaling up, still very comfortable in this map.
Ooh, yeah, that was a pretty close one with that lantern, too. Immediately clicked there by Perkz before any ward can go down. On the side of Team Liquid, there is a control ward in Santorin's inventory. Jensen even had a trinket one, but that is still going to be a chase off on top side by Baron.
That is a death cap. This game got bad to worse. Honestly, this is going to be rough. I don't know how you stop Jinx, who's going towards Lord Dominik's. That's great for killing the 3 tanks in this team, but yeah, you've got a death cap Ryze. Good luck somehow killing both of them. Your team is not bursty. Your team is not really that well built to dive. Udyr just is not that champion. Kalista is not that champion. She can't run past a Hecarim and a Sion and expect to have it work, especially with the box up there. So I don't know how both of Cloud9's carries die without making a huge mistake in this game.
They have been outscaled here, Phreak, at least for the team fights. Team Liquid, this time around, they draft very similar to how Cloud9 did early on. You know, they're the ones with the Sylas mid, Kalista's bottom side, and a winning matchup for Alphari, Volibear on top side, but unable to get that ball rolling hard enough in the early game. And now with Cloud9 on 3 item spikes here for Perkz, 2+ Last Whisper, which is a high value half an item for Zven. I think, like you're saying, they are so well equipped to fight these team fights. All they have to do is use these turbo chem tanks to get them.
Zooming around the map, Jensen can try to get out, and with the team congealed together, even though Alphari would have to teleport, Cloud9 don't like their odds of taking the fight into Fog of War, so a couple actives used, but ultimately means nothing. Shurelia's was to pick up for Vulcan, by the way, to help with the engage tools. It gives some boost speed to Blaber or Fudge. Can help Zven kite as well. Lock could have been a reasonable opportunity as well, just to give everyone the shield to make sure the dives don't work. Obviously, kiting can be pretty useful, and is more offensive, which I think Cloud9 could use some of. So we'll see what the next objective play is going to be. 1.5 minutes on the next dragon. Both teams have 2. A single Infernal Drake each, as mid lane is now under fire. Fudge leads the charge. No one's going to mess with him. 3,500 health. Pops the shield to reinforce any damage that Jensen put in. Hook over the wall. Not going to be the engage into CoreJJ. No more poke either, but an easy objective. Turrets 3-3.
I want to point out what Cloud9 are doing with the team there. The positioning on the spread, they have Vulcan trying to spot on top left backside flank, and Blaber running over on Hecarim to bottom right side. So they're just spreading out, watching all of these flank possibilities, circling around the president and the vice president there with Zven and Perkz, both protected in the middle. There's no way that Team Liquid can get in. And that's why they're easily able to take this objective without any bloodshed. And now you're in a situation where it's not just the 3-item power spike, is the extra levels lead here for Perkz. It's level 16 now on Ryze. Jensen just now hit level 15. He was previously 2 levels down to Perkz. And this is with teleport, so the split push here is insane. He's also even been able to get the magic penetration component jewel here and stopwatch, so it's just like perfect storm for this Ryze, you know, to be able to take over. And guess what? 15 seconds on the Infernal Dragon probably should be given over there to Cloud9. Number 3 will be soul point. But Team Liquid, maybe you can try something tricky with, you know, trying to rush down a Baron. You do have Kalista. And you do have control wards in there already. And
it's why Cloud9 are letting Perkz solo this. I love the forethought as well, because, I mean, you had identified it, Kobe, and I agree. It's like, okay, well, TL, you're not fighting for Dragon, so what's order number 2? It's like, well, Jensen pushing top side, so is it top lane tier 2? Is it maybe Baron's possibility? And so Cloud9 have already sent 4 members top lane, and they're like, all right, let's make sure we own the river, we own the jungle. Okay, they're not Baroning, cool. And we already know no one's stopping Perkz, so Cloud9 get to stop any counterplay, and there is 0 gold swing for TL trying to make a cross-map play.
Yep, definitely good job by Cloud9, cutting off any of these possibilities of getting back into the game, because when you have this much stronger 5-on-5. You put that pressure on Team Liquid to find something out of the ordinary, you know, some surprise play. And all that Cloud9 have to do is cut off those possibilities. Dragon picked up. Baron Vision actually is going to take a while for them to regain. Looks like they're not even bothering clearing out the Scryer orb right there either.
Which is dangerous because
this is it.
Yeah, that's the kind of play. That's the stun, and the controller comes down to have a TP. A double root comes in. Perkz, does he kill them both? He kills one, and his 1,000 gold shutdown goes to Jensen.
But he got the
greedy recall to not kill the ward sets up TL to find the play and get 1,000 gold back in their pockets.
And he killed the jungler in the counter kill, 2v1. So there's no Baron, attempt here from Team Liquid. No pressure gained off of that pick. 1,000 gold is great. That is a huge cash in for Team Liquid. But man, that Ryze does so much damage in the counter kill there that there's not going to be any pressure put on the objective. And so game state doesn't change a whole lot. Kalista now with the Lord Doms completed though for 3 items and Hurricane. Tactical, now it doesn't have to be all of Team Liquid just focusing on the Jinx and overcommitting that way. They can play this team fight a bit better this time around. You know, he does spread damage decently in these grouped up melee heavy fights. The Jinx is still going to be a super high priority. The Ryze is obviously a very high priority. But Team Liquid still having hope that they can set this dream fight up.
Let's see what happens then. Red buff handed over cleanly. Red buff Hurricane, obviously a wonderful synergy. Should feel good on tactical side as Cloud9 walk in and try to wrest more vision back. The more you can own that top jungle, harder it is for your opponents to face check in and even look at Baron attempts, but Cloud9 without a control ward, and none are in inventory. They have no way of denying the vision here. Sweeper is not enough, and here comes the engage. 5,000 on Baron. Good choppers, but Alphari's on the flank, and Blaber's still on the Baron. Here comes the dive. He stuns up Perkz, but he takes so much damage that he's going to drop 1 for 0. And Zven is safe on the backline. This fight is already over. It's 2, it's a 3rd, it's a 4th, and it's time for the 5th. There's the kill, a quadra for Zven, a Bud Light ace, and the TP to mid lane. Fudge gonna push down to Nexus, as actually it's the entire squad doing it. It's the Realm Warp. It's time to end the game.
It definitely is. C9 successfully do it. They get flanked by Alphari, but the damage out of Zven and Perkz just melts him. And there's no way there's any comeback there for Team Liquid. C9 improved to 2-1 in the series. Big, big answer for them.
They picked the late game composition, the Jinx and the Ryze. Despite all the effort on Perkz, mid lane was a bit of a kingdom. A nice hook perfectly timed, a stopwatch to buy a few more seconds, an extra ace for good measure, a 9th kill for Zven. And Cloud9 are on match point.
Perkz was also 5 away from a flame horizon on Jensen at the end of this game. If they hadn't picked him off there and he killed 1 more wave, would have been it.
Yeah.
Definitely big performance by him on the Ryze. Applying split push pressure, also a lot of good counter plays. But I was really happy to see how much effort both teams were putting into trying to set up these mid laners. So many attempts. There must have been 10 separate support roams towards mid lane. Alphari also coming down for Team Liquid. Rifthail used mid for them as well. And Cloud9 did not buckle under that pressure. Lots of good answers there.
A lot of very good answers and a well-played game by Cloud9. That mid-game fight is what it was all about, and the fact that Perkz came away with 3 or 4 and the ace, that was what happened. That was how Cloud9 came away with the win, and a well-played battle and a well-played game to Perkz for sure. So Cloud9 have answered back, and they pull ahead 2-1 best of 5, 2 match points. We'll see if they can make that one happen. Now, when we're stepping away, Steve from LCS will take us through